Thank you so very much, and thank you as always for joining us here on the morning agenda right here on Power 106 FM. Let me start with you, Mr. Smith. Your political winner for 2024 would be?
Well, I think undisputably it would have to be Mark Golding because he was not seen to be a viable alternative in terms of running the country with his People's National Party. And right through the year, we saw where there was a growing level of positive reaction to him from the public. And the party itself has also surged forward, passing the governing JLP in the polls. And he has come into his own as the president of the People's National Party, defying many critics who did not see him as the kind of person who should be there. We saw where the race card was perniciously used against him, notwithstanding that fact he has managed to survive, and is now being seen as a potential prime minister should his party win the next election.
Yes, and Mr. Gordon, for you?
I think I am in agreement with Mr. Smith. I think it would be difficult for anybody to argue against what Mr. Smith would have just said, that Mark Golding is undoubtedly the political figure of 2024. And I think it's important for us to appreciate the context between 2016 and 2023. That's about 9 years. The Jamaica Labour Party led in all the polls that were conducted by double-digit average. I think there was a time when, the People's National Party appeared unelectable. Certainly, a lot of persons felt that the party could potentially become what the Jamaica Labour Party was under Edward Seaga. It was beset by leadership crises. Include two leadership challenges. The one between Mr. Peter Bunting and Dr. Peter Phillips, and then we had one between himself and Lisa Anna. And all the time, the Jamaica Labour Party appeared far more cohesive. There was greater coalescence around the legitimacy of Andrew Holness as the leader of the people of the Jamaica Labour Party. But I think then since he has taken over the presidency of the People's National Party, steadily he has gained legitimacy. More people have now started to see him as somebody who's worthy of being prime minister. He has scored some victories over the Jamaica Labour Party, including the People's National Party. Very strong performance in the last local government election, and even the polls that have been done subsequently have indicated that the People's National Party still continues to make grounds on the Jamaica Labour Party. I mean, in a short period of time, the transformation, the turnaround, or the transformation of the fortunes of the People's National Party that he has presided over, that has put the party in an electable position to the extent that the next general election is expected to be very, tightly contested. I mean, you can't deny that he is the obvious political figure of 2024.
Riding this wave then, Mr. Smith, from 2024, also supported by other factors throughout 2024. We talk about the popularity in the polls, consistently showed that his popularity is rising. That is Mark Golding. Also, there were events in 2024, for example, the speech outside of Parliament and others. What do you see for Mr. Mark Golding in 2025 in an election year?
Well, politics is the art of the possible, and so we cannot just automatically assume that the PMP will win the next election. Suffice it to say that if this particular trend that we have been seeing for a while, and historically, when there develops a certain trend, especially one that passes the 5% mark, then it is very likely that it is sustainable on the ground. One has to be realistic, however, and we have already seen where Mr. Holness is literally being Father Christmas in every sense of the word. He's coming up with all kinds of programs and gifts and goodies, no doubt to entice the electorate. As to the extent to which he can achieve his goal of getting the elusive third term, which no JLP leader has ever had the opportunity to do, then it remains to be seen. But for Golding, I think what he has to do now is to make sure that he maintains the image that he has already developed. The Jamaican people does not rather like arrogance, and they don't like a leader who appears as if he is the beginning and end of it all. And so I think what has helped Mark Golding in terms of his persona, for the most part, he comes across as being humble, he comes across as a decent family man, and interestingly, so far, he has not had any major baggage. I don't know if, that has sunken into the minds of many Jamaicans, but here is a leader who so far has not come to the fore with a lot of baggage. There has been no scandal associated with him, and he comes across as a genuine person who really loves Jamaica and wants the best for Jamaica. And I think if he maintains that type of persona, he should do well with the Jamaican electorate, who for the most part now feel that they are being taken for granted and are not sufficiently being looked after. It's not just a matter of fixing roads and providing all sorts of goodies. They want a leader that expresses empathy, the whole business of emotional intelligence, which is so important in today's political arena. And he has come across with those qualities which I think augur well for his future success.
Speaking about baggage and scandal, which is a feature of politics, Mr. Gordon, that is true for Mr. Golding. Nothing so far. However, we have the issue of race featured prominently in 2024, which will continue, no doubt, on the election, once the election campaigning hits the road, certainly. And the issue also of, tied together, the citizenship. He has renounced his British citizenship, but I'm sure it will continue. How do you see Mr. Golding going into 2025? What is it that he should continue to do or not to do?
Yes. In terms of the race issue, as I noted before, I don't think that the race factor will resonate in 2024 as it may have resonated, say, 20 or 30 years ago, when there was a higher degree of consciousness of race and class in our politics. I think that, increasingly since the 2000s, the global societies have become far more interconnected.
Blessed is the man that walketh not in the counsel of the ungodly, nor standeth in the ways of sinners, nor sitteth in the seat of the scornful. Sorry. But his delight is in the law of the Lord, and in his law do we meditate day and night. For we shall be like trees planted by rivers of water, bringeth forth our fruit in its season. Our leaves shall not wither, and whatsoever we do shall prosper. The ungodly, they are not so. They are like a chaff which the wind driveth away. Yeah, man. And talking about the wind, the climate in Jamaica is what you call 15% winter. And it's affecting me, affecting my sinus, affecting my eyes, and all of that. So I'm a little bit under the weather, but Happy New Year. May the good Lord continue to bless you all and keep you. And we wish for you good health and wealth. Yeah? Because if you're going to get wealth, you need good health to deal with the wealth, So we wish for your good health and wealth in the new year. And may we continue to speak truth and just the truth. So help us, God. Welcome to Talk to Me Live for yet another Saturday morning. The first one for 2025. I was with you all on Tuesday evening, the final show of 2024. It was a good one. We had Doreen Campbell on, the MP candidate for West Portland. This morning, we are going to be joined by Conrad O'Brien somewhere about 9:30. And then at about 10 o'clock, we are going to be joined by Dr. Deborah Ickling. We are not just commentators or broadcasters. We are visionary. We see things, and we thank the Lord Jesus Christ for blessing us with the kind of vision that we have and giving us the ideas that can help our people move forward. Even though you have enough doubters, but I'm a Bible man, I'm a Jesus Christ man. And in St. Matthew, it said that Jesus returned to his hometown. And they started questioning, who is this man, where him get this kind of knowledge from, if them don't know him. And I that one, the sister, and a who for brother. You know. But the Bible says, a prophet is not without honor, but in his own town. Early in the piece, I think it was about in September, when Vibes Cartel went to the PNP conference. And a whole heap of people were making up a whole heap of noise, ridiculing the PNP. How could Vibes Cartel be on the stage? Including Cliff Hughes and a whole heap of them. And I came to this space and I said to you all, it is bad mind. The GLP got jealous, and all the talk about Vibes Cartel turning up at the conference was bad mind. And people would say, why? And I said to you back then that what Vibes Cartel has done economically for this country, no politician has ever done it. I think I said nobody on the stage has ever done it. And if Andrew Holness was on the stage, I would say the same thing. And then I repeated. I said, no politician. I was drawn through the coals in other places. In fact, the MP for West Portland had it sending it around to people. Look what Shaka say. And quite a few people in West Portland, because it was in some group. Them had it in some group down there. Ridiculing I and I. And a lot of people show it to me. I said, see what they must say about your Shaka. And I laugh, because I said to them that when fools are talking, they are of the opinion that is only fools listening. Now, I remember when I found that out, that they were doing that, I came back here and I said to you all, watch what is going to happen on the 31st. Me come back right here, so I said to you, watch what is going to happen on the 31st. Man, going full the stadium. Well, the 31st of December 2024 is now history. And we see lots of figures going around, branded around. One of them that I saw said that the event itself at the National Stadium turned 14 million US. and the stream ran 4 million US. So that's 18 million US dollars. I don't have, I'm not sure about those figures. I have not gone to any of my sources, sorry, close to the production to find out what the figures were. But what I know is that the figures are good for Jamaica. What I also know is that no politician in Jamaica could have done that. None. I know me have only a politician friend. I consider myself a politician. I couldn't have done it. Not at this stage. Me have talent who could have get me there, but I'm talented, yes. But not now. And not because of politics. Would have to get my talent out there and get the kind of exposure. Maybe Marky G could have do it if him start sing. He can sing. But not as a politician. Tony Rebel do the song. Song say, I no political act. I know the coke, nor the crack. A reggae put Jamaica on top. And that's what I have been saying to my people. That when we look at Jamaica, what it is that we have that the world craves. I'm hear some dopey bat when me talk. I got talk about what happened in February. Then they crucified Jesus. So don't take mankind simple. God prepare a body for himself. Yeah? On earth. And put himself in the body and walk earth. Doing good to all people. And he was crucified. You hear me? So, not because I did not win my seat in February, some dopey bat, I go look upon people like say, well, we must go shut up. Obviously, when those who are talking fall down, them stay a ground. 7-time rise and 7-time fall, or 7-time fall and 7-time rise. We don't stay down. We are example, we show resilient. We rise and we shine. And we continue to shine. And we continue to put the ideas out there. Because I am a nationalist. I am a patriotic Jamaican. And we are saying to all patriotic Jamaicans this morning, don't stop fighting for your country. I think it was Abraham Lincoln who said, think not what your country can do for you, but what you can do for your country. Close that door for me now, please. So, we see the thing. And we are putting it out there. We're not keeping it to ourselves and be selfish. So, the Vibes Cartel show was a major success. I mean, the amount of heavyweights that came into Jamaica for the show. When I tell me I want to have Jamaica go sink. The amount of weight with upon, the amount of heavyweight with upon the island. So I want to say, big up Adija Palmer this morning, Vibes Cartel. You me a big up. And like Chronicler say, I know the rest of man them a Vibes Cartel. The people them come for see. Give some respect to the production company though. Down Sound Entertainment, who pulled it off. It wasn't an easy task. Wasn't an easy task. They pulled it off. Before I go to the economy, I want to talk to Popcorn, a man who I rate. And Popcorn, that word we used to scatter. I don't think you ever tell nobody that again. Because you know why, Papi? Like myself, I see the eye love for the eye mother. And it's one of the reasons why my respect for you over the moon. Yeah. Any man who love and treat their mother with the highest regard, me have high regards for them. So a footballer like Ronaldo CR7, big up yourself. Man, they say mother have to live with him. And if me have them kind of money there to my mother have to live in my house. Yeah. So, Papi, big up yourself. Respect. Now, I want to say Happy New Year to my friend Ralston Hyman, and a regular contributor to this show. A lot of people up in arms because Ralston come here on a regular basis. But I've been listening to Ralston Hyman from in the 90s when the PNP was in power. And Ralston Hyman, just as he's talking now, when him see things not right, him talk about it. And that's why sometimes I get cross on DP. You'd have heard DP telling us, say, me bring him in the media. Me get cross on him sometime because DP knows in the 90s when me never say things what me want to see happen, me used to talk about it same way. Like how me talk about the things that will not happen now. You understand? So, my talking and criticizing the government, for me, is not about politics. It's about my island home, Jamaica. So if it was the PNP in power and this level of corruption that we are seeing now is unsure, I would be blasting them soul to hell the same way like how me I blast the GLP to hell. Because any party that is going to destroy my country, me and them can never be friends. So like Dennis Brown says, love and hate can never be friends. So when we see this present administration and mash up the country, for me it's not politics. For me it's governance. Thank you, Auntie Elaine. Thank you. You see, let me tell you something. It is for those same reasons why the two sitting PNP councillor, they are not fond of me. Because back then, me used to beat them. And they were of the opinion that I was a laborite. No, I was never a laborite. Never ever come to my mind to be over that side. But truth is truth. If you're not performing up to the standard that I expect, I am going to say it. And I said it back then, and they were upset. I hope them let it go now still. So when I come here and criticize this government and look at Port Antonio right now, and Jesus Christ, man, anybody who vote for this mayor should be ashamed of herself. Any Portlander who vote for Mayor Paul Thompson shouldn't come in at the town of Port Antonio. And it should be damn shame. The town of Port Antonio is a mess. It is a disgrace. Jesus. You have 7 GLP councillors. And none of you, none, no word to no salt, brother. Look at Port Antonio. What it is that this council is doing for the town of Port Antonio to look better. For anything to do with traffic management. For anything to do with cleanliness of the town. The town stink. People of Mansion Hill, labor rights of Mansion Hill be disappointed in now because I tell you no. So they shouldn't did vote back for this man. Because this man now have nothing to offer the people of Portland. Now me talk, me not care, you know. The mayor is a disgrace to Portland. Disgrace. Brother, you have authority of the town. Get the town clean up. The stagnant water them in the town. The town smelly, brother. Jed, let me tell you this. The politicians that are put in place are there to manage. You hear what name local government. They are the local government. The mayor is the prime minister for Portland. With direct responsibility for Port Antonio. He's the mayor of Port Antonio. Not the mayor for Portland. He's the mayor of Port Antonio, which is the capital town. And he's the chairman of the municipal corporation. So, 9 councillors in a Portland. Him are the chief. Him sit at the head of the table. So the 9 councillors form what you call the directors of the municipal corporation. They are the ones who make the decisions. The people who work there are the civil servants. So the CEO for the parish council is like the permanent secretary. Certain buck stop with she or him. Yeah? But it is the 9 councillors who are to come together and make decisions to move the parish forward, to fix up the town. And then the CEO and our civil servant, them will tell them how the thing can work and how it fi do, fi execute the plans that the directors put in place. But when most people are voting a parish council, them vote like a them friend. And them not understand that these things don't come back to affect you. That's why the town stink and dirty, because most of the councillors them don't know them rules and responsibility. The mayor don't know them rules and responsibility. The mayor don't talk to people, don't talk to the media. You can't ask him nothing. What can go so? So the town of Port Antonio, like the economy of Jamaica, is in a downward spiral or crash. Because the town not under no management. A man come to me Wednesday or Thursday. I said Tuesday night in the town, there was no political representative, neither me and our MP, never in the town with the people them. Well, you don't get one to vote for. And you know the good thing the person will come to say to me is a labor right. So me ask him how me get in that, what that have to do with me. But you know the politics. Me say, yeah, but you don't never want we. You don't want them. Port Antonio is under no management. None. The town is deteriorating. And if the people of Portland can't see that, then I don't know what more I can tell you, you know. Morning, Mama Georgia. This mayor is a disgrace. This is the worst mayor Port Antonio have ever had. And because of political expedient, them put him back for mayor after his first term. I don't know what you do, brother. But there's still hope. there's still hope. And may I depend upon people who can see. Mr. Bell, Mr. Bell, do you think the mayor understands the MPs are... Do you think the mayor understand the MPs are their parent? So if the parent are unintelligent, the children will also be stupid. Let me tell you something. The mayor, as it relates to the parish, plays a bigger role than the MP. Okay? You hear me? The mayor plays a bigger role than the MP. The mayor have more authority in the parish than the member of parliament. You hear me? Daniel Taylor. The MPs, each MP is responsible for one constituency. The mayor, as chairman of the municipal corporation, have the entire parish under his jurisdiction. And with 9 councillors backing him up. You understand? So, the mayor don't know him place. Don't know him place. Don't know him responsibility. Anybody want to call me upon 804-7072. I went up to Sheard Forest. Lord. Wow. That road from Zion Hill up to Sheard Forest is now a danger. The drains have not been cleaned. The curve and channel have not been cleaned. The water run in the middle of the road and rip it up. Rip it up. So, right now, Sheard Forest Road needs attention fast. The bridge down at Buff Bay, we spoke about it. Tuesday night. But I just want to bring up about the picture. Because I remember when they had the demonstration, the member of parliament for West Portland said no demonstration now go rush him, make him go faster than where him go. The bridge tear down now. Bridge tear down now. And the people are the ones who are suffering. People are the ones who are suffering. And you see, Jamaican people still not understand how to use them vote to punish these politicians, especially when they make certain talk, you know. But one of the problems we have in Jamaica is that if the thing not reach your doorstep personally,
National Works Agency NWA
people
Stephen
don't
Shaw,
understand that it's going to affect everybody.
not to be used by motorists, and a detour road was constructed in the vicinity of the bridge for them. But residents say that route is often rendered impassable.
I'm glad that no life was lost and nobody gets hurt seriously maybe. But at the same time, I'm still glad that the bridge tear down. Because...
You see it? The alternate route wasn't adequate. When it rains, it wash away. And as Doreen Campbell told us Tuesday night, there's a eat a food mentality because there's a tractor position that anytime it rain and it wash away, them full it up back. Instead of building the bridge. And one of the things that boggles my mind, the amount of time you hear this government talk about them have the money and how much money them have. It makes me wonder, where is that money and what them I use it for do? You have all this money, but at the same time, the infrastructure tearing down, mashing up. Mr. Bell, I'm just trying to tell you, all these people are as dumb as a bat, sir. It is a good thing you and Isaac are around to beat and teach them, educate them, sir. Well, we're trying our best to educate them. But you see, it is the masses, you know. It is the masses of the people that have to start understanding that they have a major role to play. And you must punish politicians when they disrespect you. You must punish politicians when they come up short when it comes to the poll, because that's the only chance you have. When Warmington disrespect me, and I tell people that is not me, him disrespect every Jamaican. Till him come out and disrespect Mark Golding and him disrespect other people. You can't wait until something affect you directly. You must look beyond yourself. One of the problems we have, we are too selfish. If it not affect me directly, me not address it. Can't go so. Sorry about that, listeners and viewers. That's a call I had to take. When you see you pick them a call, you have to answer. All right. So, my people, we as Jamaicans have to start being more patriotic. It can't be this die-hearted PNP and this die-hearted GLP thing. If GLP in government and them a mash up the country, you have to put a stop to it. Because power corrupt. And absolute power corrupt, absolutely. So you, the masses of the people, have to draw a break sometime. Even when a your party in power, them a mash up the country, but you have to say, hey, if you continue this way, me I go suffer. If you don't change course, me I go suffer. So when you have a economy that was ready for growth, poised to take off, and you have a party after 9 years, we are getting to -5 in 9. After we were promised +5 in 4. Remember 2016. What would have made Andrew Holness, Audley Shaw, and Michael Leachin said that they were going to grow the Jamaican economy 5% in 4 years? What would have made them say that? Because the foundation that they got was solid, ready to go, poised for takeoff. Now, after them get that and then make that announcement, they had everything that they wanted. They failed miserably. who are you going to hold accountable for that? Because see it now, I'll wait for you. I'm sending the link, yeah, man. The PIOJ came out and said the Jamaican economy declined by 2.8%. My teacher, Ralston Hyman, always says it's not the PIOJ who is the authority on these things. But them say we decline. When Statin came out, we realized that the economy declined by 3.5%. This administration has never been able to grow the economy by 3% since 2016. In fact, I think Ralston told me that they have never gotten to 2%. This is the closest that they get to 5%, but it's minus. My people, this is 2025. This is a year of decision. And the people of Jamaica have a decision to make. Do we continue as we are, falling, or we make a change with an intention to rise? Winston is saying that this GLP MPs believe in having a lot of money. But where is this money coming from? And who does this money belongs to? Winston, I don't know what you're talking about. Mr. Bell, you are so disciplined. That is why I am on your program every Saturday morning. Oh, that is so kind. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. I see OB in the chat in the studio. Let me bring him forward. Conrad O'Brien.
Hi, Colin Bell. How you doing, man? Morning.
The backlight will kill you. We're not seeing your face bright. Maybe you need to, if you close the blinds, it would be better.
Hold on.
So close the blinds and make we can see you, because our video work when the backlight is too bright, then it kills the light on the face. Or if you go behind a solid. That is better, Obi. That is better. Walk on, brother. Happy New Year.
Same to you, man. All the best and Happy New Year to yourself and, of course, your many listeners and viewers across the globe, rather.
Obi, it's a new year, 2025. Let's glance over our shoulder a little bit at what happened in 2024. What were your biggest political moments for 2024?
The biggest political moment for 2024 obviously would be that win in the local government election for the People's National Party, in February of 2024. Yes. And so we'll look at that. I think that was the biggest. And then we also know that we had another victory. The party, the PNP, had another victory in the recent by-elections. So obviously the PNP certainly stole a march on the Jamaica Labour Party in terms of chalking up the wins. And hence we have seen where Mark Golden basically comes out as the political winner of the year, and Andrew Holness the political loser, the big loser of the year,
Finish the thought.
But Colin, what we saw there, was the kind of numbers that have been shown up in the polls after polls. And I think it is safe for us to say that based on what we saw in 2024 out of the various polls, one can safely, while not taking anything for granted, but can safely say that the People's National Party is certainly in the ascendancy. And those were some of the big issues politically that came out of 2024, in my view.
What were your biggest disappointment for Jamaica politically?
The biggest disappointment for Jamaica politically must be, without a shadow of a doubt, the continued saga, embarrassment, if even, with the Prime Minister being mentioned in all allegation of the PM in all sorts of quote unquote corruption or allegation of corruption in terms of various breaches and so on, and certainly the continued uncertification or lack of information to certify the Prime Minister's statutory declaration, he being the chief servant, certainly that sends ripple, not just through Jamaica, but indeed the Caribbean and even the world. This is not the done thing by leaders.
Very well. Now, as we look back at 2024, what are some of the other major things that happened that brings your mind back to 2024?
There are, on the economic front, Colin, one could say, look at the departure of the finance minister.
Big, yeah. That's a biggie.
The departure of the finance minister, and certainly we must bring at all time, Colin, keep in front and center, in the forefront of the mind of our people that, listen, the finance minister, Nigel Clark, is not the only finance minister that had been offered position by the multilateral, it being the World Bank or the IMF. Certainly, Dr. Omar Davis was offered, and Peter Phillips, and maybe others, and they declined because they show a level of patriotism. And it begs the question whether or not Nigel Clark is a patriot or was a patriot to Jamaica, because indeed, we saw where he basically leave the shores of Jamaica, and guess what? He leave Jamaica at a time when all is there to show is that he aggressively paid down the debt as if he was trying to bolster his own resume for this job. Because what happened at the end of the day, we saw 10 consecutive quarters of decline. And of course, we are now into a full-blown recession.
10 consecutive quarters of deceleration.
Right. And now we're going into decline.
Yes.
So all in all, those are things those are noteworthy things, Colin. And I want to say, people know that I say that, listen, I have time for favor, And some people say, well, you have time for favor, Conrad, and favor is not a performer. But there are some people that you really just have that soft spot for, and I think favor is one of those persons. So I'm urging us all to remember that favor is given a bad hand. And come in 2025, we're going to see where the government will be hard-pressed to put forward a credible budget. And we must be mindful that this would not be favor making in the main, because she actually was given this hand by favor by Nigel Clark.
You almost sound like a favor apologist. Like you're begging for her.
No.
Conrad.
Yeah. But would you agree with me? Would you agree with me?
No, I'm not agreeing with you, and I'll tell you why.
Yes.
As a member of the cabinet, which Favor has always been a member of the cabinet, there's a thing called collective responsibility. So whatever is there, Favor was a part of it.
Agreed. Agreed. But, she wasn't the person with direct responsibility.
But
I
collective
can
responsibility.
I can understand.
Remember,
I
she
can
was
understand.
also in the Ministry of Finance when Ardisha was there,
Yes, she was. She
Yes.
was a full minister, but minister without portfolio in the
In the
Ministry of
Ministry of
Finance.
Finance.
Mm-hmm.
So I am not going to say she get a bad hand. This hand has been played bad by the GLP. Because
No,
they got
I agree with you. I agree with you in the broadest sense that it's collective responsibility. But certainly, I think that we have to be mindful that listen, she wasn't the person who was at the helm from over the last 7 years or so. Nigel Clark has been on that track for about 7 years.
somebody's asking if it was forced on her.
The ministry, the
Yes.
portfolio responsibility.
Yes.
No, I don't think it was forced on her. But I can remember that when all the pundits were saying that, and all the commentators, talk show hosts, journalists, everybody was saying that, listen, they believe that what we will see is the prime minister assume the responsibility of the finance minister. I myself, I was out there batting and saying, no, not at all. And I saw where the fittest person by virtue of her training and so on, and someone who had been at the wicket before, it would be Favour. Favour would be the best or only choice that the JLP would have among the 49 persons that is there, because certainly with what is hanging, the halo over the PM head, he certainly could not take on that responsibility. And although the private sector and a number of commentators are always, basically being surrogates, as it were, are sound that way for the prime minister, I believe that they would be at hard press to really defend the situation had the prime minister assumed that responsibility. Remember that the prime minister is now in court with the IC.
Conrad, fast forwarding to 2025, or let me say, come back to reality now. We went into 2024. Let's start looking forward.
Before you move, Colin, another thing that we cannot overlook is the increase of poverty and the scenario where we talk about virtually full employment, because when a country said that your unemployment rate is 4% or 5%, then you're talking about
3.6.
Then you talk about full employment. And it basically begs the question, what is happening? Because when you have that kind of numbers in employment, then certainly your economy is supposed to be booming. You're supposed to be recording 4 or 5% growth, and we're not seeing that at all. So, it begs the question, what kind of jobs are there? Is it that the guys who are there wiping the windscreen and so on, they are and people who just out there selling 2 bananas and all of those sort of things? That's where the numbers are coming from.
And selling 2 kerchief and 2 lighter, those are counted in the employment?
Yes, and not only counted, because what happened, the skeptics will say that, but Conrad and Colin, that is the measure that we have always been used to capture everybody. But what we're seeing here is inordinate, unusual number of those persons seems to be captured in the workforce.
Over 300,000 people are selling 2 kerchief and 2 lighter. So we don't have a problem with the measuring tape, because, as you said, it is a tape that has always been used. However, the jobs that we are creating are not jobs that can give people a livable wage.
Absolutely not, Colin. And we also must factor into that we have a very large number of persons within the working age population that are outside of the employment zone, and that again raises another question as to whether or not it's because of the low wages that is being paid. People are basically subsidizing going to work. I shared a story with 2 ladies in Maypen, in the Clarendon area. They live in Upper Clarendon. We work on the plane in the town center. We're earning $15,000 per month. They decide to leave the job because they say, listen, they were subsidizing going to work in terms of bus fare and lunch money.
Mm-hmm.
So those are big things, Colin. And as a result of that, it actually exacerbates the problem that we saw there with the cost of living and indeed the crime and violence that's also big. We know that the government and the police is saying that, listen, we have a 19% reduction in serious crime. But I tell you that nowhere at all in the country you can go and convince anybody that those numbers.
That is a major issue.
What they're feeling.
That is a major issue, Conrad, that some people are doubting the figures. And what the police report is that, all right, we know it's not less than that. But why you brought that up? What is the reason for bringing that up?
Because, Colin, I am an active person. I am on the ground. I am a talk show host, broadcaster. And, so I'm on air and I'm on the ground. And that's what you feel. I know of a lot of young women who were operators of bar, people who were operating jerk shops and so on, and they literally closed or basically closing very early now because of the fear factor. We saw where a lot of triple, quadruple murder, mass shooting generally taking place. So when you look at all of those sort of things, Colin, the kind of, it is very, very hard for you to convince anybody that the numbers are down. People are also saying that they are aware of a number of murders that took place in the country, and they never ever hear it.
They never hear it on radio.
They never hear it being reported. Granted, the police may say, listen, boy, we have those numbers on our blotters as well. But I think the police is doing themselves a disservice when they don't get these numbers out there to the media so the people can basically understand that these are captured.
One of the things, Conrad, one of the things that I think people are still up in arms is that people don't feel safe.
But that is it. That is exactly what I'm saying. So those fear factors are what cause people like yourself and I, who would normally be driving along a corridor, see one of our brethren car park at a watering hole, and we say, whoa, Charlie is there. So let's stop and have a drink with Charlie. No, we are drive past for Charlie, for mass for Charlie, no, see we, because we have a fear factor that we could be at that watering hole and gunshot. It is just the hard, cold facts. It's the reality.
You're the next one, Conrad. I normally drive into Kingston, and sometimes I drive alone. And you're driving to Kingston and a nice girl stop you. And you just stop and give her a ride. That don't happen again. That don't happen again because you see somebody out there stopping you. You start wonder if somebody there behind the bush there.
And it tug at your heartstring, Colin, because even children, school children as well. You would see and you say, my God, that young star, that woman, that lady, that man, as a matter of fact, they would do good with saving that bus fare because they don't have it. But you are fearful because you say, my God, I want to do a good deed. I want to be the good Samaritan.
Because one of the things I used to say when I give somebody a ride is that this is my gift to God for the morning or for the day. I do a good deed, give somebody a ride. We don't do that no more.
Absolutely, Colin. And I can tell you this one. I shared with you before, and it's still happening. You have guys who would normally be going to the drink outs and, socializing, spending good money at these functions. Now, what they're doing, 4, 5, 6 of them get together with their girlfriend or wives, whatever, and they are now booking package at an all-inclusive for the weekend. So what you find is that money is not circulating within the local economy. It's going to the all-inclusive.
You have a big point on that one, Conrad. Major. So people are not going to their regular bars and things to hang out because when the man come for shoot up, him shoot up everybody.
There you go.
So there's a fear factor on the island that is also messing up the economy.
It is palpable, Colin. Remember, we saw one of the most recent mass shooting even in the Waltham Park Road area there, where 5 men were murdered. When we got the age of these men, they weren't youngsters. They were older men. They were just there enjoying a game of domino. Right? We're not getting any information that these persons were involved in any level of criminality. It could have been a nephew, a son, or just somebody within the local that other guys have a feud with. What they do, they come and they basically have open out gunshot and so many people. The similar thing took place in Territory Lane. They may have gone for one person.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, it was about 10 persons or so that was left with gunshot wound, and a number of them died.
I think about 8 died. Christopher Martin grandmother set up. It happened there too.
Yes. You know, Colin, and this is one of the reasons why, and I know we'll get into that, but just to say, this is one of the reasons why I am saying, I have been saying to the opposition, the PNP, that listen, you have to be shovel ready. You have to be shovel ready because in taking over government, because there will be no holidays. And I'm urging persons to basically ensure that their task force are working. They are basically putting things together. Because here what happened. There will be no holidays.
No holiday, but Conrad, we were looking back, and one of the things that we must mention is the release of Vybz Cartel from prison. Hence, we have Dr. Deborah Icklin with us this morning. Hold on, Dr. Icklin. Dr. Icklin was not ready. Sorry about that. Let's bring her on now. Deborah, morning.
Good morning. Good morning. Hi, Conrad. Happy New Year.
Hi, Happy New Year to you. How are you doing?
I am fine. I am good.
Very well. Very well. Happy New Year. Happy New Year.
So I was saying that Vybz Cartel, after almost 13 years in prison for murder, was released. That was one of the big story last year as well. The Privy Council said that.
That was a massive one, Colin, and that basically had a lot of ripple effect. It actually, one could say, as a result of the popularity gained by Attorney at Law Isaac Buchanan, he emerged as a candidate, because there's just this call that based on the popularity that is being generated there, and he's now being seen in a very, very positive and powerful light within the legal fraternity, and
human rights in relation to his human rights portfolio and
advocacy. And when you look at it, and let's call a spade a spade. The fact of the matter is that we saw where Cartel was vilified. Cartel was vilified when he attended on the PNP conference. And what we saw after that, we saw him, and this is the hypocrisy, where he has been posing with ministers of government, he's been invited and so on, because they believe that, listen, the popularity of a cartel would redound to some benefit of the PNP. So all of a sudden, they throw that through the window and they are now jockeying to get favor from cartel. We'll see how that panned out.
So he went from being vilified to being neutralized, pretty much.
Indeed.
and an attempt was made to neutralize him. So you saw kind of a Cartel now taking a middle ground. I am for Jamaica, but I saw a recent was interview in which he was very clear. Everybody knows that I am PNP, but we are also for Jamaica, and there's nothing wrong with that. You know, he said very clearly when he was released that he identifies with the principles of the People's National Party. Identifies with issues of social justice, that he comes from the belly of Jamaica, and he identifies with the development of Jamaican people, which is essentially, you know, lifting up individuals, which is essentially the PNP principles.
Deborah.
Absolutely. And before you come in, Colin, one will also have to understand Cartel grew up in a community called Waterford. The PNP is big on housing, and that Waterford development was one of the major development early in the piece out of the National Housing Trust. So all in all, he embodies, he recognized that social justice that the People's National Party always stand for in terms of housing, you know, just being able to afford the people of Jamaica to be somebody.
Yes, absolutely.
Deborah, how big was the release of Cartel for the entertainment industry in Jamaica?
Well, let me tell you, when it happened at first, there were some people who were saying, no, it's just a bit of a ripple and it will pass. And I said to them, that is because you don't understand Jamaican culture. Vibes Cartel is a contemporary folk hero. What is a folk hero? A folk hero is somebody seen to be stand in defense of what some people call ordinary people, but I don't believe anybody is ordinary. But stand in defense of people from the grassroots. Somebody who will come to, you know, their defense and speak up on their behalf, speak up on behalf of people who are voiceless or who see themselves as not, you know, being able to engage with principalities and powers. So, like Miss Lou, perhaps not at the same level of Miss Lou, which has now moved from iconic to heroic, but he maintains an iconic status in some sectors of society. Now, the challenge of his criminal past, which has now been overruled by the courts,
alleged criminal past.
Criminal past, yes, has brought some dissonance to that you know, where he is placed. There are many people that an equal number of people hate and vilify Cartel as they do, as they love, as the number of people who love and adore Cartel. But that also shows us something about Jamaican culture too, that we have a diverse culture, and the fact that that he represents, whether you love him or you hate him, right? You have very strong things about it, right? There are people who have made decisions about, you know, about voting patterns and so on, who also need to be spoken to and need to be addressed, about who are in absolute they don't encourage the association with Cartel, and there are those that have been drawn to the party because of that association. And I think both perspectives are, we must treat them with respect. Yeah,
I agree with you, Dr. Hicklin, and also and Colin. What Cartel is this magnetic kind of personality, to the point where entertainers generally want to sort of itch on to his coattail to basically benefit even from that popularity. And, you know, we saw what happened when, on the 30th or 31st with that 31st. Concert there. We saw what happened, and we understand that not only from a Jamaica standpoint, but when you look at the international pull that he had, I gather that every single hotel, Airbnb from Portmore, everywhere, they were certainly filled. We understand how many private jets down on the shore of Jamaica. So all in all, this is something, Dr. Hicklin, up your alley, you know, in terms of your academic studies.
Let me
It's
take a
still,
call,
it's
Conrad.
still,
Hold on, Dr. Hicklin. Let me take a call. 804-7072. Morning.
Mr. Colin Bell.
Morning, sir.
How are you, sir?
Happy New Year. Welcome to the show.
Happy New Year to you, man. I was online. I see they have some school bus up in Portland. Where them see them, the vans them have.
Well, I don't see them yet. I just see pictures.
Those bus are garbage.
Well, I'm not going to say that yet. I don't see them yet.
No, I mean garbage. Them bus have, like, I have a mechanic and I work on those bus.
Mm-hmm.
And those bus give them engine problems. If you, probably in Canada here,
mm-hmm.
we have a place where they go dump them. There's a lots of them show down there. The engine them, like, repair is problem them. Some of them come with them cat engine night.
Mm-hmm. The cat engine, a good engine.
Yeah, but then come with the cat. Yeah, these are good, but some of them when they're making, some of them come with a US. The US system them give problems.
Oh, okay. As me say, I don't see them yet, but we're talking a little bit about the year gone and the year coming, and we're talking a little bit about Vibes Cartel. We have two guests on the line. We have Dr. Deborah Hicklin and we have Conrad O'Brien. If you have a question for them, we'll take that question. But the boss thing, we want to deal with that another time.
Okay, man.
Blessings, my brother.
All right, sir.
Dr. Hicklin, let me come back to you, though. The show was on the 31st. As the next Minister of Entertainment, Culture, and the Creative Industry. I'm speaking it into being, Deborah. Don't leave me alone. Saying my piece. Speaking it into being. I told people that the show was going to be Tuesday night. You know? And I told them when Cartel just came out and Cartel came to the PNP conference and a lot of people were talking, I told them on this platform that it was bad mind, the GLP was bad mind. And I said on a program, Conrad, I don't know if you remember, I said on a program that what Cartel has done economically for Jamaica and will do, no politician in Jamaica, including Andrew Holness, has ever done it and can do it. And I was ridiculed by some labor rights, including some from West Portland. And I said to them, watch what is going to happen on the 31st. It happened. What are your views on the show, Deborah, and its benefits for Jamaica?
Well, I think, first of all, we have to put in context that it came at around the same time that we were getting reports that the economy had slowed, had contracted by 3.5% in the previous quarter.
3.5. 3.5.
Yeah, man, that's what she said.
3.5%.
Oh, sorry, I thought they said 2. I'm sorry.
Right. So we're in a position economically now where we have to make up 3.5% and then move towards some other form of to recover and then grow, right? And Vibes Cartel came on the scene and Freedom Street, and not only Freedom Street, you have Buju this weekend, you had Sasko the weekend before, you have
Chuck Fest.
Rebel coming up.
And Chuck Fest was on the 1st.
Absolutely. And you have all of the community events and activities. If you put that all together and you think of the 1.5 that is estimated, $1.5 billion that is estimated for Vibes Cartel, and add that, we're going to be talking about 3 billion, you know, just kind of a general estimate that would have been added to the economy during the Christmas period and beyond. Now, this reminds me of the COVID period when we had a complete shutdown. And what happened is that what became clear is what the economy lost when entertainment was no longer in the mix and a picture. And it's clear to me, as I know it is clear to you, Colin, that it is time that we start to stop we stop looking at culture and creative activity as a non-economic activity. It is time for government to bring culture and creative industries fully and completely on the books as an economic activity. And that does not at all preclude the examination of culture for culture's sake, right? That's a whole set of activities that need to continue, but it does not mean that we cannot do the things that need to be done, the technical things that need to be done to make the cultural economy a real cultural and creative economy, because at the moment it's not defined, the sectors are not properly classified. There are a number of technical things that need to be done for the government to say that they have formalized the creative economy. They can't be calling people to become compliant and become a part of the formal economy when they have not provided a formal and structured economy for them to come into. That don't make any sense to me. Yeah, and especially a sector that is now bringing that can bring in kind of $3 billion boost estimated. I must say that's estimated in a quarter, and especially
in 2 weeks.
in
2 weeks.
Let's talk about the quarter. Right? Let's be generous. Right?
All right.
It is clear that the sector has been neglected. It is clear that it has not been legitimized. So there's a lot of work to be done to get some of those things sorted out. There are lots of issues that need to be addressed.
What are your views, Obi?
And Dr. Hicklin, Deborah, what is important in all of this that we cannot ignore is that this activity, this entertainment activity that we saw, or these entertainment activity, chief among them, the Cartel show, brought in overseas money.
Oh, absolutely.
Overseas money. So that's a biggie, and it dovetails, Dr. Hicklin and Colin, into what you guys have been saying. Certainly, Colin and yourself, Doc, have been championed that this 1% that we talk about. This is basically a sort of dress rehearsal as to how this can be achieved.
No, that's a very good point. But there's an issue I want to raise that I don't think has been looked at all. The cultural and creative industries at the moment, these numbers that we are getting are coming out of what we call a tourism satellite account. So the numbers that are being crunched through the lens of tourism, yeah? Because there is no...
You mean in Jamaica?
In Jamaica.
Right.
In Jamaica, right? So when you hear this 1.5 numbers, hoteliers are so and so, heads to beds, food and beverage, transportation, air, and so on. Those are tourism metrics. Yeah? They are and they're important. But the numbers of an event like Cartel has been completely undercasted because it has not examined many of the metrics that are specific to cultural and creative industries. We not count the intellectual property value. We not count the merchant. Well, I'm not sure whether the merchandising would have been counted through tourism. The specifics of labor for the cultural.
We don't count the gate receipts.
Well, again, we would have to see the breakdown of the satellite account because I'm sure there must be some accounting for the revenue, from the event. It doesn't break it down into a way that we can look and see that the cultural economy is bringing this. What they're saying is the cultural economy is bringing this to tourism. No. For me, that perspective, we need to start to look at our cultural and creative economy as an indigenous economic sector. Yeah, and we need to be developing it so that these activities and the activities within communities, when we add them all up and we have some defined metrics, we are very clear on the economic value of the cultural and creative industries. And I would suggest to you that those numbers can be seen to double if we count it correctly.
I'm going to share just a little thing. I got a call somebody told me that he was there wholesaling orange kerchief. Because what happened, persons were able now to go and do the hard sell to get up to $1,000 for one of the kerchiefs. He said he bought those kerchiefs cheap. So he said to them, say, all right, listen, I am giving you 3 for $1,000. Whatever you want to sell them for, it is your business. So they was just...
But a brethren told me that he bought a full chair, for $8,000.
Oh my God. Well, I was watching the stream and I was watching outside, and there was a woman with a table, a trestle table outside the gates with a bar, with Hennessy, with that no bar in Jamaica stock like that trestle table.
High-end liquor.
By the drink, right? By the cup. Right?
Yeah.
So, you know, what we call the multiplier, you know, is in full effect. Yeah, and but we need to be able to break it right down so that we are clear, down to costumes that were made, down to the number of individuals who come in an entourage. That's a part of our culture. I know it caused some problems, right? But if each person in an entourage gets $10,000, yeah, that's an economic issue that we need to look at in terms of how communities are facilitated through the economic activities of cultural and creative events.
Another one here that I want to ask a question of, okay, you know, I'm thinking, would we take into consideration the person who now make money via social media, the blogger, the person? Isn't that also another layer that we need
industry, Conrad?
Calculate that advertising.
You know, I'm saying, but I'm talking about for the computation that that's talking about.
Yes. Yes.
Because what you do now is you find a way to pick up every time Vibes Cartel is mentioned, right? As a digital, you know, node, right? And then you code them. That is another way to add value, because what we're saying now is that Cartel is now adding value to these other economic activities, which themselves are not being properly counted or accounted for. Do we know how much money people are making on TikTok? I know that there is a statistic that 2.3 million of TikTok accounts exist for Jamaica. Now, how much people live in Jamaica?
About 3 million.
Right. 2.3 million of those have TikTok accounts, okay?
Yeah.
That's significant.
Of course.
Yes? And how many of those are being monetized? And what level of monetization? Then let's go to YouTube, right?
Oh, there you go.
Right. How many people are registered there? What is the amount of money that is coming in? These are some of the metrics that are not necessarily being
you see, Deborah,
computed.
You see, one of the things is that our leaders are not au fait to what the possibilities in the culture and the creative industry are. And that's why we have to give thanks to the wisdom of Mark Jefferson Golden.
He's clear that he is
in his wisdom. And that's why you are here this morning and I am here this morning, because in Mark Golden's wisdom, a culture and creative industry ministry must be put in place, that all the metrics that you just spoke about, Dr. Icklin, all the things that I have been speaking about must come together to drive the Jamaican economy. Like South Korea did with K-pop, it was the government who put institutions in place to ensure that K-pop and the culture of South Korea get on the global stage and start earning for the country and start making that global mark for South Korea.
So now you're taking me there, right?
Of course.
And that takes us to issues of governance. And I want to talk about some of the things that exist at the moment. At the moment, we have a thing that we call the Entertainment Advisory Board. It was started by the People's National Party at a time when we started to look at entertainment as a viable economic activity in the early 2000s. However, it is my belief that we have outgrown the use of a minister-selected Entertainment Advisory Board. This is a board that the minister looks around and says, these are the people who can advise me to make the decisions and so on. I believe it is time for us to have a governance structure that has the cultural and creative industries represented by their professional organizations, so that there is a way to filter the information into those sectors and ensure that the decisions that are made for the cultural and creative industries are made on a representative level. Difference, right? And we put that in place in 2014. You believe it?
Nothing happening now.
Nothing happening now. Look at the things that Damien did while he was in the entertainment. He provided me with a list of projects that he did. 90 Days of Summer. He was the person who fleshed out the entertainment zones that they're talking about now. Even in the cultural ministry, there was a program called the Culture Passport. All of those things were completely.
And he was the one who was asking for no duty on our equipment for entertainers.
That came a little bit before, but they've always been tweaking that. It came under the People's National Party, certainly.
Right.
And Dr. Eklund and Colin, what is important, what is also important that is noteworthy is that, and it's instructive that you mentioned Damien, because while Damien fleshed out that idea of the goat thing there in Portland, he took the idea and let's face it, for this kind of activity, ram goat a big thing.
Is a major part of any entertainment event in Jamaica. Curry goat have to be on the menu.
Yes.
That's why I'm a bit disappointed in not just this administration, but even previous administration in what we have done with culture and the creative industry in Jamaica. Because
Colin,
go ahead, Doctor.
I think it's been a process, right? And I think we got to a point in 2015 where we were ready to take off, right? It has been a process that has grown. I mean, I can walk you through the process, but we don't have time for that today.
Right.
And it must be noted, Doc, sorry to interject, because we want to basically lay it bare.
Yeah.
Let's give a Portia Simpson Miller credit, because I remember every minute, every opportunity Portia got, she was out there talking about the creative industry. I remember it like yesterday. So she brought it to a point in 2015. Colin, what happened? The ball has been dropped.
Big time.
That's the problem.
They bust up the
ball. It became arbitrary. That's what happened. We were trying to get it focused. And it's not an easy thing to do, because let's be real. The cultural and creative industries is a difficult set of subsectors to marshal. Yeah, it comes out of a set of individuals who believe in having their own ideas and being autonomous. And I wanted to make the point earlier that when we talk about formalization, it's not about getting into individual people's business. Yeah, it's about getting a big picture so that we can grow the market so that each individual can do better.
Make the pie bigger.
Yes. So, but we have to know what the pie look like, right? And in order to know what the pie look like, we have to be able to measure the ingredients.
Yes.
Right?
Yes. Right. So that the taste is consistent.
Absolutely. So, yeah. So, where were we? I had kind of.
You were talking about 2015 and how we were ready.
Yes. So all of the pieces were coming together. There was a Ministry of Culture, there was the Ministry of Entertainment, which was in tourism, and the Office of the Prime Minister Simpson Miller decided that this was something that was so important that she was going to oversee bringing the pieces together. Because, everybody was, then there was Industry and Commerce, which had an element like JAMPRO and the Film Commission. And so what we did in the Office of the Prime Minister, we started what we called the National Cultural and Creative Industries Commission. And on that commission, every minister who had something to do with policy for cultural and creative industries sat. And every professional organization for the main ministries were brought into the mix, and were represented. And those who never have professional organization, we work with them to ensure that they put together a professional organization. All of that body is still on the books, and it has never sat since 2015. Never been convened.
That is a shame. That is a major shame. You know, Deborah. Go ahead, Obi.
No, I know we're looking at the review and so on, Colin, and going forward. But I just want to ask Dr. Hicklin this question. Why there are certain areas that you see a sort of laser-like focus approach by the People's National Party, and these areas tend to be from the people who one could say is from the bowel of the society? Is it that the PNP pay greater attention to the broad mass than the Jamaica Labour Party as in terms of human capital?
I hate that analogy of the bowels, but I think that Jamaicans, grassroots people, are they are the people who have provided the kind of inspiration that has led us to a Bob Marley. They are the people, those people who come from humble beginnings, as did Miss Lou's parents and so on, who are the people who provide us with the folk heroes, right? And have continued to be the people who speak up for the Jamaican people. And because there's an alignment of thought process. There must be. If the PNP grounds itself in the development of the most vulnerable, from the bottom of society, again, another analogy I don't like, but the most vulnerable amongst us, right? To grow them up, then clearly it must align itself with those. You know that even with all of the money that is going through the cultural and creative industries, 50% of cultural and creative workers are amongst the working poor.
Can I just add something to that, Deborah? Conrad, nothing grows from top down.
Yeah.
Nothing grows from the top. It grows from the root up. And if you really want growth in the country, you have to start growing the average man in the street.
Absolutely.
Yeah? And that is how we grow from the roots. You call it the bowels, I call it the roots.
Yes.
Up. You want to see Jamaica start making money, Conrad? And I want to say this to Vibes Cartel and his team. That hurry up and do your biopic now.
Yes.
You want to make millions, Cartel?
Yes.
Hurry up and get your biopic done now.
Yes.
Strike while the iron is hot.
Yeah,
You're
man.
hot off the press now.
Yes.
Get your biopic done now. And you see, there are several biopics that we can do in Jamaica that the world crave the talent of these people. But we are sitting back on our laurels and not looking at what it is that we have that we can compete with any country in the world with. It is our culture.
I was sitting, I went to a meeting with Ethne Miller Simpson, who is in, my goodness, he's in that seat. I don't remember the name of the constituency, but essentially Marvally and those areas, Huenden and so on, around that side. And essentially, I said to her, do you know that you are in one of the culture capital, one of the areas that is seen as a high-level culture zone? Marvally, Patrick City, Huenden has the highest density of home studios or small studios. Trench Town, when we're talking about Riverton City, that's where, if you ask about all of the artists, and later still the Portmore group, right? Those that came out of Waterford and so on. Those are the areas out of which the stories need to be coming, because that is where the names that have emerged in dancehall in the last 20 or 30 years. That's where they're coming from. But none of the mapping of the cultural and creative industries includes that.
And that's why Deborah said that we have to give Mark Golden his props, you know. Mark Golden look at the whole thing. And in fact, Obi, when I was called to be the deputy shadow minister, he said to me, listen, Dr. Deborah Icklin is going to be a senior. She's well versed and have a lot of knowledge. And with your vision and her knowledge, I believe you guys can make this thing grow. And of course, we also have junior ministers in Dr. Olivia Rose and O'Shane Grant. So it's a team, Conrad. And you talk about shovel ready. Dr. Icklin was on Power 106 earlier this week, and I heard him told the host that, listen, we have sat down. I told the host that we have sat down for over a year, and we are shovel ready, Conrad.
Absolutely, Colin. And every opportunity I get to talk to you and my program, and also to Dr. Icklin, and and the wider shadow cabinet of the PNP, I keep on putting this forward because I know exactly what I'm feeling out there, and I know that this is the anticipation of the Jamaican people. I am not in any doubt, and they can come from it now, but I am not in any doubt as to where the election will go in. I am not in any doubt. What I'm concerned about right now is how prepared the PNP is to move Jamaica to the other level. And what I'm getting from somebody like yourself, Doc, Colin, and others, you're saying that you're ready. When I talk to, for example, a Wallington Wint in Northeast Manchester, when I talk to him there, looking at a constituency that has been in the hands of the Jamaica Labour Party for 32 years on the trot, I am getting the feel from him that he has, as an MP, I'm not talking about whether or not he will be a part of the executive, but he has clear and defined objective as to where he wants to take this constituency. So I am hearted by
I will tell you that the first meeting that I came to of the task force and brought together the shadow team, I said to them, we have spent 20, 30 years working out what we need to do. Study upon study, project upon project, idea upon idea. We're not short of that. They've been written down, they've been put in corners, the existing people brain, the existing people hard drive, they are there. We know what needs to be done. My interest at this point of the game is how we're gonna do it. Yeah? How do we get it done from the ideas to the implementation? And that's what we spent this year working through. We took all the ideas that everybody has had from forever. There was a word of caution that we had too many projects and too many ideas and too many activities. But the point is that we have created a means by which we have been able to compartmentalize them and match them to objectives and prioritize them based on the objectives and what we need to achieve in year 1, year 2, year 3, year 4, year 5. That's a plan.
Excellent.
And we've done it. It finished.
It's ready.
I
ready to go.
Them the other day. They are now looking through and saying it's this thing that we're done.
And Obi, we have made our presentation to the shadow cabinet already.
Absolutely. You know I can be trusted, so I want to pray.
No, if it's you alone, if it was you alone, one-on-one, we can give you a prep, but not in the public.
No, but Colin know how I stay now. Let me tell you, I work with a prime minister. I know how to keep things on the right.
Obi, what we can tell you,
until we're ready.
what we can tell you is that the culture and the creative industry under the next PNP administration will be given pride of place. So people who are creatives, get ready. And I'm going to make a shameless plug. If you are interested in entertainment and believe that entertainment can move this country forward, put your X beside the head when the election is called. That's my shameless plug. Because the truth is, Obi, the truth though, Dr. Icklin, we have had an administration in power for 9 years, and they have not really moved the needle as it relates to entertainment. As I told Simon yesterday, give this Cartel show 2-3 weeks, and everybody forget about it. Because remember, Buju did the same thing.
I made the point the other day that it started with Buju. And
Buju
everybody
came out
was
of prison.
up in arms about how enormous Buju's show is, and then now and Cartel has doubled it in terms of patrons.
And then now, 3 weeks time, everybody forget about it. And we have to be fighting for people to understand.
I don't want us to be looking at Buju show, Cartel show, Sting, Dream Weekend, and so on and so forth as they are individual products. We also have to be clear enough, they are private sector projects.
Yes.
So when people are starting to take responsibility for them, we have to be clear that these are individuals who have made their investment and have now got their returns, right? The other thing, what we need to be clear of is that we need to put everything together as an economy.
Because that's just a small part of the economy.
Yes, it's only because entertainment festivals and events is one of 20 subsectors. You hear what I said?
Exactly.
Entertainment, festivals, events, and production.
So it's 120. It's 120. That's 1/20th of the industry that we're looking at. So that OB is a drop in the bucket. There's the bigger picture. And there are aspects.
Got a box a while ago. Conrad looked like him get a box a while ago, like him don't like him so rotted.
because Conrad.
Yes.
I'm just observing everything and looking at and just imagining the possibility how the economy of Jamaica can be totally transformed.
Because there are aspects of the economy that is bigger than those entertainment events in Conrad.
Yes.
That's not the biggest part.
We haven't looked at what can come out of film and all of those sorts of things.
And we're still not even talking about music retail, music production. We still are talking about the value of some of the art that is produced here in Jamaica, fine art. Yeah,
there you go.
You know the value that is coming out of touring. Are we aware of what is happening in the theater sector and subsector? Look at Marlon James. Marlon James just moved from being a novelist to being a screenwriter with a HBO series, being Millie Black. Yeah, Look here. We've been ramping.
I'll just give you this, Conrad.
Colin, just before you come in, I think that this conversation that we're having, I know we must find a way to ensure that this go as wide and as far as possible, because a lot of time and go down to the average person, drill down, because some of the question people ask from time to time, what is the PNP? What will the PNP do? How the PNP is different? Certainly what I'm hearing from you guys here is giving me a lot of hope.
Definitely, Conrad, because we have plans to grow the economy, and we know where this industry, the orange economy, where that stands in terms of growth for Jamaica. And as I said, we have a leader who understand, like Gilly say, Marky G's an entertainer.
Yes.
So
he understands the intricacies of the sector. He really and truly gets it. And he knows it on the culture side, and he knows it on the cultural economy side. I tell you a little story about that meeting with the Maroons. I sat in the room, and all the Maroon chiefs are there, historic. And the opposition leader comes in and he says, okay, we're getting down to brass tacks. And he just named out the things. Let's talk about land. And he started to talk. They tell him, he listened first. They tell him the full story. Who have what convention, who have another convention, this one do it different, this one do it different. And I'm saying, all right, okay. And he just outlined, here are some of the things that can be done. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. All right, let's move on to the next thing. And him listen again, right? And then he said to them, I've heard from you. We're going to come back. I want to hear from you. But everything is prescriptive, yeah? Is a man who understands the architecture of getting things done. That's one of the things that I learned about him in this last year. He is an architect of putting together processes. That's what I've learned about.
Deborah,
You
remember,
know,
hold on, Obi. You remember at our presentation, we had about 20 odd people on the virtual platform listening to the presentation. And Obi, after we finished, everybody asked their questions and done. And we thought, okay, that was when the party leader started talking, and every aspect of our presentation that he found interesting, he was asking questions about them and understood what we were saying.
And if he saw that there was a pressure point that he needed to put on it, he said, but hold on, you sure you can achieve this? Are you sure you can? We need to work out the funding for that. How does that work?
Obi, listen to me. Listen to me. You see, the fact that we have a leader who was a successful businessman who understands business, understands investment.
Is a successful businessman, not right.
Understands investment, so he can look at a thing and he can,
who knows what it is to look at a balance sheet.
And if I may, Colin, you know, just to get from you guys, because what we want to do, we want for the average, the man, everybody, to understand where they stand in this scope, in this scheme of things, this industry, how it can spin off so that additional layers are formed.
Okay.
Talk to the listeners how the furniture man, for example, can benefit from the creative industry. Talk to us as to how agriculture will benefit from the creative industry. Kind of dovetail those things in.
Hold on, Conrad. The furniture man is a creative. Directly.
Yes, first of all, he has to see himself. He is designing. Design is a central element of cultural and creative industries, right? And he is designing every little etch he put in, you know, those little curly things you see in the
He's a major creative.
If he comes up with a unique design, he can take a photograph of it and he can go down to Jaipur. And he can register it, and that becomes his intellectual property. And anybody who uses it or anything like it, he can contest it. And every time somebody uses it, they have to pay him. So, but these are some of the things that our artisans have to come to learn. The other thing that happened the other day, the tourism team went to the craft markets, and they met with the issues with them over the issues that are happening in the craft markets. What needs to happen is that we need to be matching the Jamaican craft sellers in the markets with the craft producers. Yeah, there are lots of people who are doing crochet and who are doing. So there is a program that exists at places like JBDC, but we need to expand those things so that we are now moving to match them with the sellers. So we're not importing things from China. That's Jamaica. Yeah, there's so many programs in terms of grassroots development. The dancers, yeah, why are they not the people who are in the hotels? That's a whole other story, though. There's a whole other set of technical issues to do with trade and agreements and so on. But from the base to the very top, We talk about furniture. There's a set of people who need to be learning how to make sets, specialist sets for theater
For film and
and
film.
for film.
Yeah.
If we have a film center, a film center, then you're going to need carpenters, you're going to need electricians, you're going to need welders, you're going to need all of those people. Food service, every set that comes on that takes place has what we call craft service. So the food is coming from right here,
Our sportsmen, our sportsmen and women are integral to the sector as well.
In every sector you can find that multiplier. Yeah?
In some country, Dr. Icklin, people say education is a part of the creative industry.
Yes, that is true.
I put those out there because sometimes you want people to understand how the entire wheel, the spokes in the wheel, how they really come together.
I'll tell you something.
So, like for education, can you imagine if we were getting tablets to every child, but we were creating animated lessons using our Jamaican animators, or even acted lessons using I created a TV program called A Graders about 10 years ago that did just that. It animated, it dramatized lessons for the students, right? And it had a whole storyline and everything, and that's how they were preparing for DSAT at the time, right? So if we were doing that kind of work, then the students wouldn't be getting bored. They wouldn't, they would be watching their lessons as a part of a dramatized series or animated series.
And creating reggae music to teach our children as well. Let me take a call. 80470.
Yeah, hello?
Yeah, man.
Bossy, good afternoon. Where are you going?
We're there.
Boy, bossy, me I tell you, man, like when me call you about, say, Sunday me I come from church at Linstead, and when me enter the garage, I come round. Just as me enter the garage, me I drive in at the 5 o'clock, man. Me see one patrol in the road, anyhow the car drop in at the mash up. And me hold the brake, drop in at the patrol, and hear one little noise on the back. When me realize one bike man now running his side at the back of the light there, so and at the unbroken white line to and drop off and blows up himself, and pure argument. I will go at the station and me hand over my documents. Him can't hand over for him, and the policeman have to go up on his phone and tap up it and find out say he get the bike from one man, no insurance, not upon it. And me just say, boy, PNP in a power and make gas tax $13 gas tax go on, and this government come in a power 9 years now, and what then do with them the amount of money for gas tax? That me have to drive on the road and all.
Yeah, because there was a gas tax OB if you fix road, don't?
Yes, because when PNP come out of power, that was in there $13, and this government in a power for 9 years. So where all them the money go because of the worst condition me was the road them in.
Well, the Prime Minister said we have a road emergency.
But that the road emergency when you have you know you can't fix all the road, because when me go a Linstead and turn to come back at town, trust me, no road not there so.
I remember that
gas tax $13 gas tax while away. A bike, I mean, I really hear nobody say nothing about that.
Call me Tuesday night to talk about it. Here, Tuesday night, 8 o'clock, we're gonna deal with it.
All right, cool.
Blessings.
All right, sir.
Yeah, a lot of things. Yeah, a lot of things. There's also and so Tuesday night you can discuss it. Remember, there's also the additional $750 for the edge. And
they are not edging.
That had been dovetailed into the whole road maintenance thing, and we have seen nothing. And it's just crazy. But so Colin, here we are. We look at some of the other things before that came on. Some of the political pitfalls and the movements, the winners and so on. That I concur with within the media, other commentators who said, listen, that Mark Golding certainly is a political winner for 2024. Andrew Hollis is the loser. I also made mention of some of the devastating thing or the shameful things that we saw in 2024 have to be what came out of the IC with the Prime Minister, you know, the allegations, and we're not putting it further than allegation, but just the mere fact that those allegations has come about and so on. It was really a low moment for...
You know, Conrad, we spent a lot of time talking about the creative economy side of our portfolio. But all of these things that you talk about are really leading us back to the culture side of our portfolio, because we have engendered cultures of corruption. We have engendered cultures of we don't see death as a major issue anymore. We're going through every day. We hear, oh, 2 dead, 5 dead, 6 dead.
We just see the yellow tape being drawn and people gone by the merry way.
Sensitized, and this is a cultural issue. Yeah, we have our children who have been acculturated to be violent and to jump to violence, you know, as a way of solving their problems, because many of them see that at home at every level of society, right?
The naturalization of bullying and all of those kind of things.
All of those things. We need to take a step back. And we need to determine, and you see, we separate culture and the creative economy, the output side. It's a circle, you know. Everything feed into everything. Yeah. So if the people sing in violence, the people are gonna act out violence. If they sing in love, you're gonna see a lot more love. So we have to find a way where we make that circle link. Yeah. That's a part of the process of our policy development, not separating the elements, but trying to find a way where we can create a sustainable society and economy. Yeah,
it's all about fixing this place called Jamaica, so that we can make it the place to live, raise family, and do business, not as a state.
We talk about productivity. Productivity is really comes out of individuals feeling that they want to do more and they will do more. Yeah.
Let me see if I have a call from a guest.
Incremental,
hey, Colin.
Measurable.
Hold on, Deborah. Go ahead, Chris.
Hi, good morning, Colin, and your panel. I want to just commend the lady for what she just said a while ago. Listen, let's start from the top, Colin. We can fix the country, and we fix corruption, fix integrity in leadership, fix education, and we can talk about all of the stuff you talk about, and I agree with everything you guys are saying. But if you don't have the moral leadership at the top to guide the people, everything will go for naught. Start with the love of the people first. Put the people first, and protect the Jamaican people first, and everything will flow out of that. Colin, I hear talk about the orange industry. We should be one of the countries in the world because Bob said it.
Yes.
We
Bob
have
give
it
us
already.
the platform.
Yeah.
Miss Lou, we have it in our DNA. We have it in our DNA now. Why are we talking about these things when they are low-hanging fruits?
Yeah, you know, I said in a meeting recently, the next leader who can do something about these things, who comes to me and talks about potential, is gonna hear me literally scream. Right? We need to move past potential now. We've been talking about potential for 30 years. How do we now?
We have Colin, we don't have a money problem in Jamaica. We have a leadership problem. That is what we have. If you can account for $3 trillion, we know in that morass, people have them hands and doing things they're not supposed to do. So that's how we cream off the money.
Yeah.
We need moral leadership. I believe Mark Golden is the last chance we have in a very long time, if we miss the boat, to turn this thing around to have moral leadership. I think Mark Golden is a moral person. I think he's a decent person. And we need that first to set the thing.
Hold on, Dr.
Mark
Eklund
love the
want to say
people.
something.
Him is a grassroots person.
Hold on,
Him
caller. Listen,
understand the people because him come from out of the
listen.
Michael man the
Caller,
camp. And Michael say,
listen while,
get your
caller, listen
education
while,
because nobody
caller,
can fool you when you have your
caller, listen
education.
while you speak.
Chris, hold on a little bit. Deborah want to say something.
I wanted to jump on that 3 trillion thing, because again, it seemed like something is embedded in our culture. How much was this year's budget this year, Colin?
1.4
1.3.
trillion.
Well, 1.3.
So what we're saying is double, more than double our annual budget.
Almost 1.5 times.
Cannot be accounted for. That
Right.
makes sense to you?
And then when you look at some of the ministries that have not given account for the money, the Ministry of Finance, 1 trillion. Office of the Prime Minister, 10 billion. Ministry of Education, 902 billion. Ministry of Health, 695 billion.
This is endemic.
And what is dangerous?
Colin, before I get off, let me just get off, Colin. Before I get off, I want to say this.
Yeah.
How can you have a country that is graduated 18% of their kids that can pass their examination? 18%.
That only pass
This is
five,
a national
five
disgrace.
subjects.
It should be an emergency.
It's
No
a
matter
crisis.
about emergency to fix the road. It's emergency to fix education. Uneducated people is a doomed people.
Yep. All right, my brother. Respect.
All right, Colin.
Go ahead, Deborah.
Yeah, no, well, basically what I was saying is that we need to look at these issues from the cultural perspective and building up the confidence of people, reminding people of where we come from. And we've done some of that this year. You know, we've had 2 or 3 major debates, that have ensued. The heroine and hero debate, and the one about emancipation and independence. Don't take them slight. We may have forgotten them, but really what that was a nation standing up and saying, hold on, hold brakes, right? Draw brakes, because we see ourselves in this way, and no private sector and no public sector is going to come and tell us. And so this is now Jamaica asserting its cultural confidence. And this is a part of the process. Now, sometimes it makes it hard for leadership. But guess what? If you're going to be talking to people as opposed to talking down to people, if you see yourself in service as a leader, as opposed to seeing yourself as somebody who's going to be disciplining these pesky Jamaican people, then you will have different approaches to leadership. So it's a change in culture, a change in the culture of leadership that is also required. And it's part and parcel of this whole thing about how we see ourselves. And you can trace it back to colonialism and so on. But that's, again, a whole other argument.
You know, Deborah, as I sit here and listen to you, and from all accounts, I have interacted with the man, and I find favor in him. I have a lot of time for him. Talking about Mark Bolden, the man I dub as Marky G. And we have seen his business acumen. We have seen his discipline. Certainly we can judge him from the work that he did as Justice Minister. I think he still holds the record as the Justice Minister that passed the most legislation in any one parliamentary term. And so all of those things are in sync. We saw his discipline in terms of filing his thing on time, not just file but publish and so on. Where the rubber hits the road now is how is he up to the task to hold people accountable, not just by talking and say that, boy, we will not tolerate corruption, but we'll show it, because that is what is lacking him. Because one would remember the utterances, or the utterance that came from Andrew Holness while he was out there campaigning. And from all accounts, all of those things seems to have gone through the window.
Yeah.
You know, to the point where when you ask question of him, he starts to get a little bit upset, as if, boy, you should not ask me this question. But he put himself out there. So, you know, you guys must be recognizing at this minute that, listen, certainly for us to move Jamaica forward, it can't be business as usual.
No, absolutely. And here's one of the things that the circumstances of the last 10 years has made it worse for any government incoming because of the erosion of trust that has taken place, because of the erosion of confidence, particularly in the political system and in political in political personalities. I've been on Twitter and people have told me that I am a liar, just like every politician, and in particular every politician, because they started this whole liar campaign, right? And every single time I have to say I take absolute umbrage. Right?
Indeed.
Don't you mix me up in your foolishness, right? You don't know nothing about me, right? And if you find a lie that I've told, then bring it come.
Call me out on it.
Right?
Call me out on my lie.
And let's have a discussion about it.
Don't broad brush
me.
me.
What's wrong with changing your mind? Changing your mind don't mean you tell a lie, right? And there's nothing wrong with coming to a new conclusion with new
information. Of course.
Right?
You know,
means you're not static.
Don't.
Yesterday I was listening to a program. I was listening to a program yesterday. By the way, I resumed Monday coming. So I was listening to a program on Monday. I mean yesterday. Colin called in. Colin was basically critiquing some aspect of the government, talking about the decline and so on and so forth. And rather than the host examine that, the host pivot immediately and start to basically turn the thing on the PNP.
Yeah.
And as if the PNP have a parallel government with the government of Jamaica. And I'm saying that when I listen, I say, how do we get there? As somebody who has the awesome responsibility of sitting behind a microphone.
let me our political history has been long, and our political history has been checkered. Yeah. So not everybody can claim complete innocence on either side. Let's be very clear about that. But as far as I'm concerned, right, and I'm speaking about me and the team that I'm working with at the moment and lead, and the team that leads us, yeah, we're here in 2025, and we have a decision to make, and we have to make a decision about the best individual and set of individuals with the best set of principles. Now, anybody being honest with themselves, right? And anybody who's being objective and looking at the facts that exist will know exactly what that decision is, right? It cannot be the levels of corruption. It cannot be double the budget whatever they're calling
unaccounted funds.
Because embedded in that, you know, Dr. Hicklin and Colin, while and we want to make it pellucid, that we are not saying that the $3 trillion have been stolen. However, when you have an accounted money like that, then there lies the fly in the ointment.
You don't want to go a little further, Conrad. I want to go about it further.
We don't know how much of that money may have gone into people's pockets.
Conrad.
Because we don't have the accountability.
Conrad, let them come for me. I am going to say, hold on, I am going to say that some of the money missing. I am going to say that some of that $3 million has been stolen. Trillion. It's 3 trillion. I am saying here today, some of it has been stolen. Prove me wrong.
Well, I don't know.
Because, hold on, remember this, you know. Let me remind you of something. The Ministry of Education, they have not given an account for $902 billion over 9 years. Now remember, there's a little matter with a man called Royal Reid, who was the Minister of Education. So I am repeating it. Some of that $3 trillion have been stolen. Prove me wrong.
You could be onto something there, Colin.
Prove me wrong.
You could be onto something. But certainly,
with Charmaine, you know, who is hunting there. I am craving for a better Jamaica. Listen to me. I have 2 nephews and a niece, and all of them are creative people, right? And for even those people who are not creative people, I cannot go to my grave understanding that we have not made a difference for them to be better, to do better than we did.
Yes, yes. I want a better Jamaica for my children, for your children, for my grandchildren, for your grandchildren, for all who are to come. We want to leave a better Jamaica.
And I've seen some of those bright young people, right? We talk a lot about the delinquents and the ones who are fighting and so on and who are getting into trouble. But there are some remarkably bright young people who need a future, man.
You're absolutely correct, Dr. Eklund. And what we know for sure is that we have seen this administration, led by Prime Minister, the Most Honorable Andrew Michael Brogard Radham Holness, we have seen it, and we are in a position to judge, and you know the people of Jamaica will have to examine and say, is this what I want? Mark Golding, on the other hand, as the opposition leader, he has showed his mettle as well. And one of those defining things that we can start with is something that one could say basic. It is filing his return on time, ensure that it is public. So even that, we can judge him on to say, but listen, look at this. Mark Golding is showing his mettle and he's living up to the letter of the law. So
what do you say to people? What do you say to those people who say that the Integrity Commission is going after the Prime Minister?
I say absolutely nonsense.
I have duties to perform.
We have passed our cutoff schedule, you know, Dr. Eklund. So you have given us way more time than you promised. Thank you very much. We're wrapping up.
Deborah selection here. Any prediction?
Let me put it this way. If right-minded Jamaicans make the right decisions, then we will be going in the right direction of change.
When the election is going called, that's what we'll be asking you. When is the election going to be?
Say the whole heap name them again. That individual knows.
When you think, any prediction from you?
No, I'm predicting nothing. Name Robert Pickersgill, our chairman for life, who says when you cannot predict, you must prepare.
Yes.
That's where I am.
All right. Have a good one, Deborah. Thanks for coming on.
All right, Deborah. All the best. Blessings.
Obi, what is your prediction?
Listen, what I will say, I am gleaning from quarters that preparation is in high gear for February. But I think that is excellent. I think that's excellent because
I've seen the pictures.
Because here what happened. And I think it's an awesome kind of settings because the PNP, that is the opposition, cannot be caught napping. Because you start off with the closest point being February. What do you do now? There is a template constitutionally that there are minimum amount of days that you have to allow for an election to take place. So if by ending of February it isn't called, then all you do, you add that minimum amount of days going forward. And then you take it. If it don't call after that minimum, you take it to the next minimum. So therefore, I think the PNP is in a glorious position. What it behoves all the players, the 63 members or candidates, to go out there and to do their work. I believe, Colin, that the campaign is on in earnest as we speak. And this week coming, that is going to be the full week in the new year. We're going to be hearing some major announcement coming out of Jamaica House. There are 2 senator positions to be filled. We're going to hear who those 2 senators will be, either this week coming or very early in that week. We could also, depending on how long the Prime Minister decides to go, we could probably see a bit of elevation there. Or my good friend and JLP spokesperson, Marlon Morgan, expect him to get one of those senator positions. And he could kick up the value chain as a junior minister as well. I'm also looking at Karen C. Morrison. She may come into the cabinet. She may be sent off to education to help to bolster that ministry. But I think all of those things may come by virtue of what is in the Prime Minister's head. We could also see persons within the cabinet ranks at this time be taken out of the cabinet and sent out there in the hosting for organizing. So we could see maybe your minister over Portland there, Vaz, he could be taken out of the cabinet, sent on the road. We could see where Dr. Chang being relieved of some of his portfolio and actually, sent back into the field out at Belmont Road to direct traffic from a general secretary standpoint. So all of those things are things that we have to watch within the coming week, beginning Monday, going forward.
Interesting times ahead, Conrad.
Definitely so. Definitely so.
Let me thank you for coming on this morning. Let me thank Dr. Ickling. Thank all the people who called in, all the people who keeping the chat room fiery. Yeah, man. Anything you want to say finally before we go?
Well, Colin, just to say that I'm prepared to put my best foot forward for 2025. Continue to speak truth to power, no matter who the guy is, and remain wedded to my conscience so I can sleep when I go to my bed at night. And whenever my maker decides to make his move, I will find rest in his arm. Colin, my friend and brother, I wish you well for 2025. And I want to say great 2025 to all the listeners and viewers. Join me, yours truly, Conrad O'Brien, the fireman, Mondays and Tuesdays, and New Start 93 FM from 9 until 12 midday. We also simulcast and Fit FM, Caribbean Vibes Radio, and of course the Wayne Hall Network as well. I may be doing duties some other days, but it's a management call, so we await those. So all in all, Godspeed.
Thank
and
you
before
very
you
much,
go, Colin,
yeah.
I am telling you this very, very excited situation in the constituency of Northeast Manchester. I gather that up to this time, the JLP is in a turmoil. They cannot make a decision as to who will be the candidate there. But Valentin Wint, he is continuing to intermingle with the people of Northeast Manchester and doing the work. And I gather that he's creating a massive buzz in this constituency that has been in the column of the Jamaica Labour Party for the past 32 years.
Thank
So
you,
it's
my
one
brother.
to one.
All the best for 2025. I wish you good health and wealth, and to all the people. May the good Lord continue to bless and keep you all, make his face shine upon you, and be gracious unto you. The Lord lift up his light and give you his peace, now and forevermore. Until we meet again Tuesday night, Colin Anthony Bell, Shaka to the Fame, saying, one love. Bless up, my people.